Okay, I know. As soon as I started recording, I made those noises, but and I do want to say really quickly on record for everyone on YouTube that watches this to know, I will happily take really good food over sex any day.
Although, if both is available, you know?
Also true. That's not to say that I'm against eating sushi off of a hot naked lady.
Please. If that's an actual restaurant that exists, like,
I don't
you
know if
know,
it's a restaurant, but it is a thing that has happened. So, uh,
it makes me think of a particular episode of Ishizoku Reviewers.
I haven't watched that series. Uh,
It's really good and really funny.
I imagine so. All right. That being said, it's time to talk about TBATE. All right. Let's start off with the general stuff. Does this episode have the same problems that we've been talking about of all the other episodes? Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Is this episode showing landscape shots or environmental shots that have less detail than the webcomic? Yes. Is this still a good episode? Yes.
Yeah?
Honestly, I'm gonna say something controversial. I think this is the best episode so far.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. We laughed out loud so many times, and we paused and talked about stuff, and we were comparing. We'll get into the introductions, but we were comparing stuff throughout this episode.
And, like, I'm very upset that Fenris and Hoshi couldn't be here for this one.
Because this
They
was
would
a
have
good
loved
episode. Yeah, this was
it.
a
A
good
really
episode.
good episode.
It's Fenris is unfortunately unavailable. He had to have his wisdom teeth pulled, and Hoshi's family came in and distracted, so they could not join. And
Yep.
we missed them both, and we hope to see them next time. But we definitely want them to watch this episode. This was a good episode. That being said, hi, I am Richie Roberts.
And
Almost
like
said
Sparks.
I almost said Minister of Science and Technology.
Yeah, no, we ain't doing that show. That's Sunday.
That's Sunday. But yeah, I'm Richie Roberts. I have read all the way up to about 34% of book 11. That's where I'm at right now. I checked on Kindle. I have read all of the webcomic that is up, and I am going through all of the audiobooks right now again, up to book 11. That being said, yeah, Moon, tell them what your experience in this is.
Yes, I'm Moonlight Sparks. I am currently on book 6 of the audiobook. I'm somewhere around halfway, maybe a little past. It's hard to tell, but it's a
You're
big
over
book.
halfway. You're over halfway.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know where you're at in the book. I was just saying of the story so far because Turtle Me said it's going to be 12 volumes. So you're over halfway.
Okay.
At least I know that.
Yeah. Yep.
So that being said, everything that's being covered in the anime, we know. I've reread multiple times in different versions. I've listened to it several times. So when I hear the Japanese version saying city or country names wrong, it pisses me off. It irks me. But that being said, I will also say this, and this is something that I put on the TBATE subreddit. By the way, guys, go check them out. Shout out to the TBATE subreddit. I was talking about how I did not think that Virion's voice matched him for the JP version. And somebody dropped a hot take. I don't think anybody's voice in the JP version matches. And I'm like, it's weird. It's weird that I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
But when we watch the dub, I think for the most part the voices are matching pretty well. So
yeah,
it's kind of weird. It's not that anybody is doing a bad job. It just does not feel like
Definitely
some of
not.
the voices match. I honestly prefer Gray dubbed versus subbed. I don't know why. He sounds way too intimidating for some of the stuff that I know he's going to be thinking as the show goes on. And I'm like, this is way too like serious. Like the voice is just
and
way
like
too serious.
there's a point in this episode where Arthur literally is sitting there. It's like, I'm suddenly becoming more mischievous, and for me, I'm like, you've always been mischievous. At least you were supposed to be.
Mm. When he snuck in to start reading books and learning magic and stuff, that was mischievous.
But even
he
before
may not
that,
have thought it
Gray.
was.
Yeah, but even before that, while we don't see it here, you A, get a sense for it, and B, at the part where I'm at in the book, you can see that Gray, growing up, was still a mischievous little shit.
Hmm. He absolutely is a smartass. This is just the begin. This is just where it really took off. To be
Yeah,
fair.
it shines most.
Hmm. All right. That being said, we're actually gonna go through this episode and show it on screen. We're not gonna like play the episode, but we are gonna skip through some things. Okay. So starting off, I was already worried
Hmm.
at the beginning of this because we had like the little shadow monster or whatever uh show up, and I was like, the hell is this? This didn't
Yeah.
happen. And then I realized as soon as he said wait, I was like, oh no, he's not talking. No,
Yeah,
I remember this moment. I
it
remember
was a
this
funny
moment.
joke. It was
A
really
joke.
good.
It is a joke that actually took place, and then immediately Tess is on top of him. But my girl, you're supposed to be on his tummy.
Uh-huh.
That's not the appropriate placement. If her
That is
father snuck it,
absolutely
if her
not.
father saw that, Arthur would be dead.
Also, she'd be learning a lot right now if, you know, because morning issues, they
Yeah,
tend
he's
to,
too young for that. His body is too young for that. His body
fair
is too young
enough.
for that.
But still, like, oh.
Also, just to clarify for women, really quickly, who are like, "What is Morningwood all about?" Okay, it's not about horniness.
Absolutely
The
not. You just
problem,
kind of wake up and
no,
it's
okay,
rock solid.
it has to do with your bladder being full and it pushing all the blood forward. So, like, literally, because your bladder is full, that's why.
And honestly, it's more annoying.
Yeah, it really is. Try peeing through that thing when it's like that stiff. Uh-uh.
And then also, because, like, you're just sitting there, like, I just want to stay in the bed. And your body's like, go piss!
Yeah, yeah. Or wake up in the middle of the night because your body has had enough and it's like, no, you have to pee, and it's like, and now I'm awake forever and I've ruined my sleep schedule. All right, but
Hmm.
regardless, moving on. Like I said, I was about to be mad, and then I realized, oh no, I know where they're going. Also, for the most part, this episode stays on topic. It stays on the story beats.
Yes.
Uh, we only have like we. That's not to say that we don't have some criticism here. We do have some criticism at moments,
Hmm.
but they're not nearly as strong. And this, as we said, is probably the best episode they put out. It's arguably the funniest episode.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a little disappointed that they couldn't clear the Ivy Sour thing. They called him Ivy Sour instead. In the web comic, he called him Ivy Sour. And I was like,
Yep. And that was funny.
also, his response is 100% Arthur right here.
Hmm.
Like, he looks, sees that it's Tessia. Please, Nightmare Monster, just another
Just
5
another
minutes.
5 minutes.
And then Tessia immediately starts bullying him. Hey, your hair's a mess. Who are you to talk, Medusa? Kind of. And then, yeah, he starts getting changed. All right. This part, the princess part, that will be brought up later, and we'll confront it then. But yes, this is very much their relationship. And if anybody's wondering why is Tessia taller, she's older.
Hmm.
That's it. Like a year or two older. That's all.
That's literally it.
Could you leave the room? And then we get to the opening, and now we skip the. Oh, thank goodness! I was worried I was gonna have to pause this. Now this actually does take place. There is a lot of. I will say the anime does a lot more of emphasizing them talking.
The conflict between humans and elves, which, like,
Mhm.
that it
We
is
get it
there.
already.
It does exist, but the king and queen were a lot more compassionate about it. They
Yeah.
aren't sitting there like, he is a child and we must throw him out because he is human. They're sitting there like, he saved our fucking daughter. I
But
know
he's
we
also
need to
human.
kind of put him out, but
There's
come
there's a-
on.
there's at least a little bit more compassion for Arthur from the king and the queen. Like
Yep.
they are more torn by the situation than the anime portrays. Is what
Yeah.
we're getting at. Yeah. However, this part right here does in fact happen.
Mhm.
This is the one time that there is because because Virion just comes out of nowhere and is like, all right, I'm taking him as my pupil. And his son's like, wait, what? What do you mean? No, this is a big deal. Do you know how the rest of the community is going to react to this? And it's like, no, that makes
Virion,
sense.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
It's like, Virion, I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a
I
fuck.
don't give a shit.
I don't give a
I
shit.
don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. And if I give a shit, I might just give a fuck, but I don't give a shit, so I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
That is the way of the Virion.
Yeah.
Bitch, did I stutter?
I was like, so what you do is go to your local supermarket. Or no, it was pharmacy.
Pharmacy.
Local
Buy
pharmacy.
this little pill called
Ask
Viagra.
for something called
and
Viagra.
it'll help you get it
to help
hard
you.
so you can go fuck yourself.
Okay, you added way more to that than there was. Ask for something called Viagra, and it'll help you go fuck yourself.
Okay.
I've got your arm, so shove it up your ass. God damn it. All right. Why did I hit play? Nope. All right. Anyway. All right. So they call. Once again, this actually does happen in both versions, in the comic and in the novel. Tessia confronts them and is once again like, hey, he saved my life. He's a good person. It doesn't matter that he's human. And at this point, they're not arguing that he's human, he needs to stay or go. They're like, yeah, the problem is Virion has never taken a disciple, and out of nowhere, the first one he chooses is a human child. There's like, I mean, they don't fully clarify that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, like, I can forgive this because there's a lot of details that don't make the transition between novel and comic and anime. It just doesn't happen a lot of the time that you get like one-to-one. That's why Mushoku Tensei was so beloved, because it was a huge rarity that most everything, including a lot of the detail in that story, stayed in the anime, and we were just like blown away by that. All right. But yeah. Anything you want to say about this particular scene before we get on to the carriage ride?
Not really.
And the first grandpa of the series.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I had to get it there. How long until we reach your mysterious friend, Grandpa? We're like, Gramps! Gramps!
Now, I don't remember if it was Virion asked for it or not. This one didn't necessarily matter. It didn't have as much emotional gravitas as Sylvia saying, please call me Grandma. But still, it's a wonderful thing.
No, this is how it happened naturally. Arthur called him Gramps, and he was like, Gramps, eh? Aren't you being overly familiar?
Oh, fair.
In all the versions, this is correct.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
It's okay. It's been a minute. And again, I'm one of those ones, I remember fictional stuff more than I remember IRL stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I've reread this a few times. So, that being said, it's funny that it shows Fenris online when I know he's getting his teeth worked on right in this minute. All right. That being said, this was a real fun moment. Grandpa feeling it too relaxed. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to hear what Virion sounds like dubbed. I'm wondering what voice they got for him. It's rare that I'm excited to hear a dub, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
Also, this series needs a dub.
Also, like, I am at the part of the book where Virion just keeps saying, there's my future grandson-in-law.
Yeah, no one ships Tess and Arthur harder than Grandpa Virion. Like,
it's
literally,
so funny.
It's so funny. He straight up is like, will you just marry my granddaughter already? He's like, dude! Arthur is like, my guy! You're like, what? I know you don't like her. He's like, and like in the back of his mind, Arthur's like, I'm way older than her.
Oh, it's so funny.
I do hope that's a thing that they end up getting into later. Hopefully, if this continues to go this way, like there are jokes we're making about this series and like background and characters not moving and stuff like that. That we had a lot of fun making jokes about where we were watching. But it does not take away from the fact that this was actually a good episode, like a very good episode. Uh, Also, I'm glad that we followed up the worst episode with the best episode of the series so far. Worst episode yet, best episode yet. So I was like, what happened? Okay, so everybody that cared worked on this episode. Good to know.
Apparently.
Yeah. But now we learn, and this is also important information in the series in general, that Tess doesn't have a lot of friends because everybody is kind of phony around her.
Mm-hmm. Because she's the princess, and they know she's the princess, so they're like, we have to be nice or else.
We'll see this in full in just a little bit, but yeah. Alrighty. I'm still screen sharing, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, cool. And so, because I'm gonna let you cover what's next.
Yeah.
Okay, so we wake up. Yeah, because you had a lot more thought. Okay. Also, okay, hold on. Who is this mysterious friend? And what did we say when we got to this part? Yeah.
Yeah. This happened beat for beat in the book. He doesn't knock or anything. He walks up to the door, kicks it, and yells.
Hang on. There we go.
We're here, y'all. Hang, open up. God, it's so good.
Also, I didn't even notice their faces before. I love their faces right there. That's so funny.
They're just like, what?
I love how Arthur is more shocked than Tess at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to visit my friend. Open up, you old hag! And
that's part of what makes it actually feel like a really good and close friendship.
Yeah, this is, to be fair, this is like the warmth and the vibe of the characters. Like, this is how the characters we were hoping would be captured.
Mm-hmm.
It took us this long till we finally get the. To be fair, they nailed the Tessia and Arthur stuff in episode 4.
Yeah,
absolutely nailed that. And then we got episode 5, and it was just like, what happened? Because now they made the king and queen different. Like, they changed not a lot, but just enough to make them seem off.
Mm-hmm.
Not drastically different, just off. And it just, if you know the story going in, it feels wrong. But
and it just irks you.
If you're watching as an anime only, you have no problem with it. You're like, why are people yelling about this? And it's like, well, we know.
I would say the king and queen, the elven king and queen, they approach this whole subject with more of a, like, cautious, warm hug, as opposed to the, oh no, human boy problem that we have here.
But yes, this moment right here and the follow-up, I love this, goes to check on the door, listens, wham, boom, immediately. 100% their relationship. We cheered when he kicked the door, just so you know.
Oh, yeah.
We were very happy. We were like,
yeah! Oh, it would have been so upsetting if they left that out. Oh, my God.
Virion is still Virion, and that's very important, because I'm going to be 100% honest. The king and queen of, like, Tessia's parents, not nearly as vital to the story as a whole of
but
TBATE.
Virion is very important.
Virion is extraordinarily important to the entire story. And not just because of now, but future stuff, spoilers. But yeah, anybody who's read the books or checked out the comics, you will know. Also, we have been given the green light, so shortly on Saturdays around, I think, 1 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna start doing comic reviews and comic breakdowns and stuff. So we're gonna start with TBATE and kind of do a compare and contrast. then we're gonna move on to some other webtoon series and tapas series and stuff like that. So we'd love it if you join us. We're not gonna be reading them. That's not what's gonna happen. We're not gonna be reading the shows. We're gonna be doing like some comparison for some, and then we're just gonna be talking about how good some of them are. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait until like, guys. It is going to require some required reading from some of the audience and a lot of us. But like when we get to Tower of God, that's like, all right, everybody, we're taking a week off because we gotta read.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, back to it.
Yeah. So
Rinia
yeah,
looks
we
exactly
have
like I thought she would. Yeah.
yeah. That's a perfect way to do Rinia. She looks great. They did describe her as being like short and everything, so it was like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But her character is also pretty good here. They keep the grouchiness, the back and forth that she has with Virion a lot. It feels a bit shorter. Like I remember in the book, this whole thing took a bit longer. We had a bit
Mm-hmm.
more talking with Rinia, but like of all things to shorten, it makes sense to shorten this. So
Yeah. I will also say I do like kind of the tour of the house. It's not quite as cottage feeling as I thought
yeah.
it would be. But
In the
maybe the
book,
cottage
it
is
felt
maybe
like a small cottage. Yeah,
maybe the cottage is the next place and this was the original place because
maybe.
there is a change of living situation for spoilers.
Yeah,
So
but there was also they were supposed to like go. They had to go through the road, go through like a bit of
mhm,
forest, go through a fucking cave. It was very convoluted to get to the house for
mhm.
very good reasons. But I remember that was a bit of a thing, and also one of the reasons why Virion like came in and was a bit rude, because that was another thing he said. It's like you always make it so difficult to get your damn house, and she's like, "Well, I have my reasons."
But yeah, we get kind of like a little show and tell tour of the place, a huge library of books, and then like and this is where we do the water divination thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our biggest what we're about to experience is our biggest criticism of this episode.
Yeah,
It's not a harsh one, but it is still
it's
one that
one of
needs
the
to be pointed out.
things. Yeah, and it like really highlights one of the biggest problems this show as a whole has had.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm gonna skip through some of her stuff. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
there's the
Yeah, it's
slideshow
showing
moment. Look at
them.
that. Look at that.
Yeah.
There's the slideshow moment. Pan, pan, pan,
Pan. Look at all these pans.
No, no, no.
Um.
That's not a pan. That's a pot.
Okay,
See,
but here's the thing.
Hey, guys. We'll see you later.
But here's the thing. Right here, you're seeing they're smiling. They're acting regularly and everything. In the book, they were depressed
They were devastated
because
Yeah.
they're still thinking Arthur's dead. This is only like maybe I think it was 2 or 3 months.
Mm.
It's been a while, but
I
their
think it's been about
son.
6 months. It's been about 6 months because there's that time that we've been with Sylvia, and then
Yeah.
the time it took to travel to Eleanor, and
Yeah.
then the short amount of time in Eleanor. But I think it's been at least 4, maybe 5 months.
Yeah.
Because I
But
think he was
this
with
does
Sylvia
not
for
look
3 or 4
like.
months.
Yeah, this does not look like a pair of parents who, in less than a year, lost their 6-year-old child.
He's not 6 yet.
That's worse
Mm. He's 4.
because he was 4. God, that is worse.
Yeah.
So much worse.
So he would be turning
because-
5 today because they say it's his birthday.
Yeah, they say it's.
I
his
will
birthday.
say this.
Now.
I will also say this. This scene does not even make it look like they're putting on the appearance of trying to smile and stuff, even though they're
Yeah.
broken inside. Like, it's this opening part that we're criticizing, not the rest of the scene, but this opening part. Mostly because, guys, I highly encourage you, once you watch these episodes, go check out the comics and look at the differences. Like, the tone of certain characters in certain scenes is so vastly different. You're like, why did they choose to go in this direction?
Like,
You know,
honestly, the
it's-
biggest thing is the
Ah,
eyes.
dang it!
Wow, what the hell?
Ad block auto popped up. Ad block hit me with an ad.
What the fuck? But
You were
the
supposed
biggest
to
thing here is it's kind of like in the eyes. Their eyes still look joyful.
Yeah. You were
They
supposed to.
shouldn't.
You were supposed to block the ads, not join them. Keep me in dark mode, not leave me in blindness. I don't have anything for you or my brother Anakin. I think we're done there.
But
yeah,
like
move forward.
it's just small changes that would have made like
then,
this. If their eyes looked like that,
Yeah.
it's that slightly closed. You know.
Yeah. I will say this: as soon as they mentioned like this, the stew is Reynolds' favorite, and it was also Arthur's. And as soon as they said his name, the mood went to where it was supposed to be.
Yeah, this is where it should have started.
So it started a
because-
little bit too lighthearted. That is the critique there. That being said, that's the shot we needed. Also, yes, you can tell her belly is bigger.
She is pregnant.
I also will understand a thing that there is a thing that happened, and I can't remember if it's explained now or explained later in the books, but it is explained, and I understand them not showing it, but like at that point, when it happened, when Arthur went cliff diving, they were distraught. They were broken. They could not move. Like literally,
they're gonna show a bit of that.
Yeah,
well, we can get to that
horns,
there.
The twin horns, like I can't remember the guy that starts with a D, but he had to hit him to get him to move. And the part that understandably that they left out of this anime is that she was so distraught, she immediately went to self-deletion and had to be stopped. And I understand them not putting that in the anime. I do. I absolutely understand that. But yeah, like it was serious. We want you guys to know like how much it impacted these characters. Okay.
We talk about how lighthearted and happy a lot of this series is, how joyful some
in the
things
beginning.
are.
In the beginning.
The fact is that this show is just real, because when shit happens, it does have a serious impact on the people.
And now we'll get to some of the stuff that I was talking about, but I needed to get to the part where Durden, I think is his name, was saying, you need to go be with your wife, okay? Like you need to emphasize you two still have another child on the way, and you have to be there for her to hold her. You have to understand, on the ride back, she was literally just a shell breathing. That's where she was. Like
she was catatonic practically.
Yeah, right there. That is everything. And him being there for her, he has to be like, I can't feel the things I need to feel right now because I have to protect my wife and my unborn child. Right? So that's the mentality that he had. And you can't fully express that in this medium quite that way. Like, to be fair, I have seen anime do it, but I know what studio I'm dealing with here, and I knew I wasn't going to get something that, like, I will say that's the reason why a lot of people are saying that the soul is kind of missing from that, because it was so, like, it hits you. When you see
like
these, when you have these scenes, it hits you.
My bad.
Truck-kun.
Yeah, it hits you like a truck-kun.
Yeah, it hits you like a truck-kun, and that's when you end up in another world with my smartphone. But yeah, the whole point is that, like, we understand some things are harder to translate just visually, but also there are plenty of times where the comic has translated something visually that the anime did not, and we were like, but why?
Yeah.
So
many times, honestly.
To be fair, it's not outright hatred, it's just frustration.
Yeah.
I'm not angry.
Because the story deserves so much more.
Right. We're not angry. We're not mad. We're just disappointed.
And Richie showed me some of what this studio can do.
Yeah.
And it's great.
I showed him the final episode of the strongest mage in the Demon Lord's army is human. And we were watching that. We're like, Why aren't they doing this with Mushoku Tensei? Oh, sorry, shit. TBATE. Normie Tensei. Why aren't they doing this with Normie Tensei? But yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. This is the gate to Xyrus. I want you guys to understand this is not actually Xyrus Academy. This is the gate that leads to Xyrus Academy. You have to go through. They call it gates, but basically kind of like a teleportation portal.
Yep.
We're not going to explain this because the anime.
Yeah, this will end up being explained later.
Later, yeah.
They in the book they talk about it a little bit because we get to hear and see things from it's either the mom or dad's perspective. But they mildly explain it. They don't touch on it too much because currently, right now, the more important thing is what's happening with Arthur.
Exactly. And so this is good. How this right here, how they look, they're a little depressed. They're thinking of their son, who they believe is dead, and then they're now. I'm sure he said this multiple times, and he's just doing it again. And then we get the moment of them trying to fight their sadness, and that was very needed.
Yeah, it was done well here.
And then
now this is a bit that kind of irked me because
also,
with what they showed, they should have done more here.
Okay. I will also say one other thing. This is my first compliment on the animation for this series. That soup looked good.
Oh, I do.
That soup looked very good. And considering that before this, we were talking about soup and food for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That soup looked good.
Good soup.
Good soup. Good soup. Good soup. All right.
Well, yeah. So we see this. They're hearing Arthur's voice.
To be fair, they're surprised. They're very surprised.
Yeah, extremely surprised, which is fair.
I still want to say, as well done as this scene was, I still say the comic did it better.
Fair. I haven't even seen the comic, but I can understand that. I know what I saw, what I pictured and what was described in the book. So here, right there, go back one. So right there, right? We're seeing that, yeah, she's got tears in her eyes. He's extremely happy. That's great. This is more than that.
All right, you know what?
For 6 months, they thought the kid was dead. Gonna go to the comic?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Tapas.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, this is the official site, just so you know.
Please, go read it. It's well worth it.
Hang on, I'm going to take this off the screen so nobody sees my login info.
No, that's fair. But while he's doing that, they could have done more here because what was described was they were collapsing with relief, joy, and just tears. They were just distraught, like in a good way.
So by the way, we're at 217 right now. That's how far in the comic is. And let's get I'm going to see if I can get through this. Okay, so we have this is still pretty okay. There we go. The Diviner. There we are at the Diviner. Okay, so you know what? Shot for shot.
Perfect.
This is good. This is good. So we're not actually wakey. Okay. See, her knees were on his stomach. Whole different shot.
She wasn't straddling him. She was just directly on top of him. Just
And then not now, Shadow Monster. 5 more minutes. Nightmare Monster. Who are you calling Monster? And
look, her hair even looked like Medusa there.
Yeah. So they're not doing a bad job with some things. All right.
Yeah.
They're just. And he did call her a mini Medusa, and of course she wouldn't know what that is. He called her princess. She pinched him. So up to this point, everything is. Also, I feel like we left out. That's the other thing. Okay. Let me shower and get ready. Unless you want to watch, I suggest you leave the room, Tess. And immediately, ew, how perverted. Grandpa was right.
Stop using words you barely know.
All right, that stuff. Some of the humor between them wasn't as prevalent, and I understand they left some of it, but come on, man. That was funny. Okay, so as we talked about right here,
Yep.
The two of them were arguing. Your daughter seems to approve of my decision as well. Yep. Oh, by the way, this is something I have as an emote from Turtle Me's Discord, the official Discord for the beginning after the end. I have the nod.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. Father, I ask you to reconsider. No, he will be. So this stuff is kind of there, and then looks like the elder really can be trusted. I don't know why I never hear Gray's voice when I'm looking at Arthur. I just hear Arthur's voice. There we go. He calls him Gramps. So this is his first Gramps. Gramps, eh? Well, aren't you awfully comfortable with me now? So, yes, this is kind of sort of playing out in the same vein. And I'm enjoying this so far because also, God, okay, being the princess, she's hurt. And I think this right here is a much more intimidating. This sums up things much more than just
because she's
like,
just
certain
surrounded by
shots.
fake smiles. That's
Fake smiles, and then this is her real smile that she's given to Arthur. I'm really sad we didn't use that shot, is what I'm saying. Like, that's such a good shot. I would have loved to see that, and I love the expression of like surprise. Huh? Are we here? Her waking up and everything. Oh no! Hey.
Was there not a cave? Oh, okay.
No,
Is
I
that
think
not
the
till
cave
later?
stuff. I think the cave stuff is later. I think we're thinking about a
Alright.
later time. Yeah.
We might be, yeah. So that's good then. Okay.
I wonder who this mysterious friend is that the former king is.
Wow. Hold on,
We're here, you old
We're here,
witch!
you old witch. Come out.
It's good stuff. And then bam! My ears
My
still
ears
work.
still work perfectly, you grouch.
Yeah, exactly. Arthur, this is
Oh,
Rita.
it's so good.
Yeah, so this is pretty much. Oh, except he's like, manners. Well, we haven't gone all day. He's like, manners. And she's just like, bitch, get inside.
Bitch, fuck you. We don't need to stand out here. Jeez.
Okay, so for the most part, yeah, I think this is very good. This is exactly how it needed. Oh, he's got a pipe. For a second, I thought it was a pen. But I'm what's called a diviner. Diviner, diviner, diviner. All right, and here we go.
And they did keep her eyes. Like, they didn't make a big show of it, but they did her eyes right.
Okay,
It's
once
like
you're
green
able
and
to see
orange.
them. Mom. I also love that the first person he thought of was his mom. He's such a mama's boy. Please be alive. And we get. Damn it!
Next episode. I mean, well, yeah,
It was a caption contest, and then there was a Q&A announcement. What? Oh, what's to come?
There it is.
There we go. Wait, what?
Oh no, you must have skipped one.
No, hang on, because it said
Yeah, because
caption
we're on
contest.
23.
Were we?
Yeah, and you're on 25 now.
Oh.
There you go, 24.
23 is the diviner.
Yep.
24. Oh, the other side. Yes. Okay, so we get the soup look very real in that version.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you could see the bay leaf.
Okay. So here she's smiling, but also you can see the
not in
sadness.
her eyes.
Yeah. All right. So here we go, and this is typical. I have to be the positive one right now. I have to hold up the positivity. That's also I don't remember the stubble and scuff on his face.
That's part of the whole because he's
Yeah.
having issues taking care of himself.
You can see the darkness
bags
under
in her
her
eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bags in her eyes. It's just been a while since I've cooked for you after moving here, helping her down.
Sit down, because
Yeah. This used to be yours and Arthur's favorite
Pregnant.
dish. What was that, honey? It's nothing like. Yeah. See, she is. Hi, mom. Hi, dad. And then you get that shot. It's me, your son, Arthur. I love that we don't
Drops
see
the
them.
fucking
We just
spoon.
see the spoon, and then we get the beginning after the end. So, all right, we're just trying to compare this scene real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Ooh.
that hits so much
That
harder.
is so much worse. Damn.
Yeah. Like his just shock. His just outright shock.
Because he couldn't move, and then he just falls apart.
Oh yeah, this is
There it
this
is.
is dirting. This is dirting hitting him. They did do it. They did do it.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap, I couldn't remember if they did it in the comic or not. They straight up did do it. To be fair, though, I still absolutely understand why they didn't do this in the anime. Absolutely understand it. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, yeah, that
You
moment
can
right there.
see the shell,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that shell. Like, I'm not saying they did a bad job. They still did a good job. It's just
It was missing
it's
something.
stronger. It's just stronger in this form, and I wish it had that extra kick in there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can still see the bags under her eyes. And I like that detail of the bag still being under her eyes. And they go forward, they do the things. Okay, so they did show them. They did show
Yeah.
them.
But
Yeah.
that's kind of all we got out of it.
Yeah, that's all we got out of well, you know that they're talking to some people, and then there's this.
Yeah, there's that scene.
There's that scene. There's that. Keep mom and the baby safe. Like that's the thing. They're not happy. No, they're fucking stunned. You just
Yeah.
heard your son's voice in your mind out of nowhere. And then that. And then that. And then that. Like, I want you guys to understand that this scene was played differently
So differently.
in the anime, and it does not quite hit the same note. We're not saying it's necessarily bad. We're just saying it's not as strong of a hit as it was with this. And I don't understand why they didn't go quite like that. Like, they could have, like, the really strong emotional chord here wasn't as strong in this verse. Also, we get
That.
right. It shows that Gray cares about his parents. He gives a shit. Not that we think he doesn't in the anime. It's just you realize the depth of how much he cares. And he's like, oh, that face, there's the I'm ready face. I'm ready face. Okay, so don't you?
But
okay.
then we compare that to what we had here.
Yeah, and
This
so
is just so lackluster.
skipping forward. Again, I wouldn't say it's fully lackluster, but yeah, a lot of the vibe of it. Okay, here we are. All right, so number one, the bags under her eyes should have been there. They should have darkened underneath her
right
eyes.
here, she just looks sad. She doesn't look like the actual shell that she became.
Okay, then we have
We get
that.
this.
And we have that. So again, the other people are gone from this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an important detail.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So once again, they're surprised, but like it just doesn't hit the same, quite the same.
Like here, it's just like, oh, I'm so happy.
He did cry
not
here.
just.
He
"Oh
did
my
cry here.
God."
That's so good.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that is good. That's really good.
But like the I'm ready isn't like okay, and he doesn't say I'm ready. He just says please take me as your apprentice. Now I will say now it's starting to like the environment is starting to look quite a bit better. Also, not 100% sure what is going on here. If it's kind of the same. I just know that they're still griping about are you really taking him as your apprentice? Blah, blah, blah. All right. And now we get the whole they're officially welcoming him in. And I love this moment. It's so cute. Until you realize that's a king shaking another king's hand. And one of these kings is actually inferior to the other. You want to take a guess as to who the inferior king is? All right. Also, here's Tess getting her way because she's daddy's little girl. Which I can't blame. For that. But like let them go and play around outside. All right, this shot right here, that actually looks good, but, unless we're up in an airplane, why do all the people look like poles? You know? That being said, it could have been more populated than that, is my whole thing.
Like, they used so much CG in that other anime you showed me.
Yeah.
Use it for the background people. It's not gonna hurt.
Let them move, yeah. To be fair, though, I would be a little annoyed if the background was all CG stuff. But for that shot that we looked at, of the top-down kind of shot, I would agree to that. Let's just get some, like, vague... Oh, here we go. It's Ivysaur!
Eventually, he'll grow up and become a full-blown Venusaur.
I have to do it again. We've got to. We have got to go to the next. And the next, no, not create. Dear readers. Okay, so this was a contest.
Yep.
I love that. Okay, so these are panels from the previous. This is like, and this is literally. This is so sad because it's. Okay, so once again, she has more of a prevalent role in the comics than she does in the anime. But it's literally her going, teach me more, teach me more, teach me more, and then his face.
To be fair, more of her importance kind of does come in later.
Yeah, Jasmine.
So it's like,
Jasmine's importance. Okay, so here we have what's to come, and then we get. So now I like this. I do want to do the comic and the anime comparisons. So instead of like a big meeting, they just come back and he stops him, and says. That king's being that years of being made a king has made me a bit old-fashioned and stubborn, and he literally just apologizes. He's like, what he's trying to say is, we're sorry for earlier. Please see, this is so much more warm and welcoming, and it's not that we're mad. It's just we really wish this had been in there too, because there's such good like a lot of the tone and the vibes of this episode. This episode was good. Don't get me wrong. I do think it's the best episode so far, and I did enjoy the episode. But I hope now you're seeing what it is that we're talking about, instead of us just yelling at a cloud. Yep. You are my daughter's savior and my father's first disciple. Let me welcome you in again. So, and that's where we have the handshake. Thank you for your generosity. I love Arthur's face in this shot. Hold up.
Just like
Let's play outside and show him around the city. Also, I don't understand why we don't get more of these like little cute chibi moments, because
they'd
so
be
wholesome.
easier to draw, faster to animate. Like
they're so wholesome, and just they give a warm feeling. It's okay to do that. This anime doesn't have to be fully serious. That's kind of the point. Okay, so let's go. There she is. She's on her date with Arthur.
Yep.
And then, all right, so already more populated.
And it looks more alive.
Oh.
And they're still not moving in this, but it looks more alive. Explain!
Also, that face. Arthur's face, just because Elder Virion favors you, don't. Yep, 1-for-1 shot,
God.
baby. It was so on point. I love that they kept that. That's so good.
You
there.
I think the sparkles make it funnier, though.
Oh, hang on. They should have added sparkles.
They should have.
Hold on. I'm trying to see if we can find it real quick. I want
your human gems on me.
Who's this supposed to be?
Lord Virion might have taken a liking to you, but this is no place for humans.
I love the, go back to where you came from, monkey. Yeah.
Little shed.
The little anger mark. Why was that missing? Oh. Ibsar the Third to escort you. And he's just like, I love this. Just
that little smirk.
Favorite? The favorite Ivysaur. I love Tess. I love Tess's face. She's like, the fuck are you doing?
Huh?
So even you've heard of my genius.
They put the bulb on his head. I love it.
It's so good. So now you guys see what we're talking about. Now I understand legal reasons and all that why they couldn't use Ivysaur.
Yeah.
But goddamn, it was funny. Right, favorite? The favorite Ivysaur?
No,
Oh,
he
is he
said
favorite?
Faye Wright.
Favorite Ivy. Oh my god. That's so funny. And then we get... Now, hang on. I do want to know... Okay, so we do the duel. Also, now everybody turns around. The amount of jokes that we were making of... Why are we standing still? Don't look. Maybe you won't grab any attention. The amount
He's
of
a
jokes
human,
we were
not a
making about-
T-Rex.
Yeah. if we hold still, he can't see us. He's not a T-Rex. Like, we were making all of the jokes
So
about
many
why
jokes.
why everyone in the background was just holding still, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh god,
just
thank
not
god that,
moving. It's,
thank god for the snot-nosed brat. We can finally turn and see what's going on.
Oh man.
Guys, we're abridgers. We're gonna make dumb jokes like this. It's just part of it. All right.
Yep.
That being said, here we go. She starts the battle. I forgot that this
Homeboy
is
walks
how
up
he
and just-
runs up. He runs up and just fist to the face, and like now I want to know also what a pose, Arthur, you poser. But I want to know. I can't remember how it went in the comic, and now I need to know. All right. So,
Now the one thing we are kind of missing is
Also-
the explanation
also,
for why the duel
guys-
was a problem.
Guys, I want you to understand something. I want you to understand something really quickly. He is way more of a smug little prick in the comics.
Yeah, the comics and books, he's way more of a dick, and it's
And
great.
it's played up. It's great because it's played up for laughs.
Yeah.
It's like,
'Cause-
I challenge you to a duel, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah.
And he's only really like it to the people who deserve it most.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, yeah, I love this. I
That
love this.
face.
They're like, what? Huh? And he's like, what the actual fuck? How dare you initiate a duel? Well, so here he is being smug McGee. Again, I love the chibi things. I think they should keep the chibi things. They work so well. Okay, I will say this. At least the background characters have faces in the anime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So start, and I think human name Arthur. This genius will show you. No, that's it. That's what I thought. He just blinked forward and knocked him.
And he's got the fucking Sans eye, too. The blue flame eye thing. Jesus.
And he goes flying. He's like, that's
Yeah.
it?
That's it.
Tessa's face. I knew this was going to happen.
They didn't do a good job at explaining why
Run,
this was a problem
bitch,
in the
run!
anime.
Yeah.
So in Elven Duels.
Hold on. I think it's explained later and not right now.
Oh,
That's
is it?
why.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it may, because look, here we are at the comic, and they still haven't explained what's going on. Or it may
I
be a
see.
book-only thing. It may be. But to be
could be.
completely fair, I think it's later when we meet Ivysaur again.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you were taught so far, but I will assure you that my lessons won't be easy. Yeah, that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go. Never mind the pain from your monocore, which was a thing.
Yeah.
The assimilation, blah, blah, blah. All right. And then we get, are you ready for it, brat? Also, I love the whole brat Gramps thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. If I remember right. Also, guys, look at this. Like, okay, I get it. The characters aren't like very distinguished, but you can kind of see. Also, the environment, way more detailed.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish more effort had been put into this, is what I'm saying. I wish there'd been more love, care, and attention put into this. All right, so this is the end of season 1. I love the Q&A announcement.
What the fuck?
That's so good. I've never seen that before. I love
that. Oh.
I kind of now want to put that down as like our beginning after the end show. Like I want to put that in there, especially because they have the R for me.
Yeah, for Richie.
Yeah, I kind of want to use that. Damn it.
And then you could just put like a little like a pony or something on the table for me.
Oh, damn it. I'm taking this. I'm taking this couch. All right, if we can find this. If I can find this
couch.
I'm taking this
perfect.
couch. Yeah. All right, and then yeah. That's kind of where we're at cuz we're at the Virion would definitely teach cooking. Yep, cooking. So, here we are at Q&A stuff. We're just what in the what?
That's them gender swapped.
Oh, no, that's
Yeah.
true. I was like, what in the what? I'm like, yeah, look, Arthur's suddenly taller. I'm like, what in the what? How do you come up with the idea for this story? Any advice? Okay. So, wow. Wow. Nope. Okay.
Nice.
Yep.
100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. Kidding. Okay.
What is your comic making process? 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. Kidding. Okay. Oh man, this is why I say check out the comic. It's not just for sheer comparison. There's so much extra stuff that you definitely. All right,
and we got this. Yeah, this was after credits.
Yep. So we're going to let this play out, and there we go. So they did not say specifically, so we don't go into the.
Yeah.
Also, we talked about this before. When the roles are reversed and finally we're in the man store and the woman has to be the man for the why am I here? Like, yeah. Anytime
At least
a
she
woman
isn't
goes
having to
shopping,
hold
it's what
his
we-
purse.
Yeah, right. Hey, single guys hate to hold the purse. Married guys love to hold the purse. Money, 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 money. I have got the money, 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 money.
Oh man.
Single guys act like a purse is a radioactive booger or something.
For some reason.
Yeah. All right. So, also, I like this guy goes, nope. You
Nope.
can't have this.
Tessia,
Tessia
bitch,
just-
what?
Bish, what? Yeah, exactly. So, just flex, girl. Just flex. But as you can see, like, we got some of it. It looks a little too clean, is all I'm saying. Like, the animation style looks a little too clean. There needs to be some... It needs to look a little rough in places. Like, it needs to... They're like, this place looks so clean and pristine. No. The bridges need to look like they're in use. Just say it. So here we go. With the talk between the two. I love that. That also, okay, I was going to say that hand looks wrong, and then I realized he's still, like, short and flubby, and he's still got the baby fat, so no, that actually makes sense. Also, look at these two cuties. Aw.
So cute.
I ship them. But to be fair, there are other characters that show up that you can ship with art later, so.
Yes. And believe me, you feel it with all of them. You're like, man, all of these are viable.
Yeah,
I still
right?
choose Tessia.
I still choose Tessia. All right, so we get to the credits, and then after the credits, there is a post-credits. So if you missed it, guys, pause now. Go check out the post-credits. Come back. All right, welcome back. What'd you think?
You
All
better
right, so
watch
here
the
we
rest of
go.
the episode too.
We were talking about this. Guys, if you watch this before you watch the episode, what the fuck is wrong with you? Go watch the episode.
For real.
That being said, though, I do think people who like actually want a proper compare and contrast will appreciate this. That being said, here we go. We finally get. I'm gonna let this actually play because we want to see the whole thing. Like, things are very different. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we now have a time skip. This is a couple of years later.
3 years specifically.
I think so. And if you don't move, also, I think in this version she just straight up pinches him or something. I can't remember, but I wanted to be able to show this in the anime before we get to the comic and do the compare and contrast. I actually think it's good to do the compare and contrast now.
Yeah.
I think this is the method we're going to use moving forward. But yeah, like visually, how different they look now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a look at this. Are you ready? The sleep.
Good, I can trust you. Good.
Arthur.
Arthur.
Yep, and there we go.
For it.
Season 2 tease. Oh, this is just a tease.
Oh, you tease.
And literally the episode is called 3 Years Later.
3 years later. Yep. I think that's what the chapter was called too.
We're going to be late. Ah!
Okay, what's she doing? Just
She's
squeezing him.
No magic. No magic being shown. Stop, I give. Also, if we don't get an actual
No,
explanation.
yeah. He says you actually used mana to twist my ankle.
Yeah.
So she was using magic.
Can't you find a gentler way to wake me up, Tess? It's not my fault you didn't wake up when I asked. So, yeah. Besides, you should feel grateful that such a pretty girl like me is waking you up. I find the maids here plenty pretty.
Ooh.
Did you say
Did you
something?
say something?
I think that maid just now is pretty. Give it a rest.
Give it a rest.
So yeah, this is later in the training. We'll get to that later. I don't want to show any more because spoilers.
Yes.
But yeah, this is so good. And yes, we will be going through and talking about the actual manhwa webcomic. I call it a webcomic because it's not specifically Korean. It's made in the U.S. The story is from the U.S. The author up to season 6 is Indonesian. I don't know necessarily what the new author is.
But
But
the
yeah,
artist?
the artist. Sorry,
Yeah,
artist,
because the
yes.
author's still Turtle Me.
Yeah, the author is still very much Turtle Me. But Fuyuki is no longer the artist for the comic as of season 6. And
Mhm.
that was a big thing that that kind of bummed out the fan base as well. That being said, let's go ahead and sit down and rate this episode. I think we had 5 criteria last time, if I remember correctly. I should have gotten that done before we started. Oh well.
I couldn't even remember what the criteria was.
I know music, animation, voiceover were the things that we added to the anime, and then we
Mhm.
had stories and characters. So I think those were the 5 criteria. So let's start with characters. How do you think the anime episode represented the characters? Honestly, now that we've looked at the comic, I would say it's a pretty good representation, except for the parents.
Yeah.
Like that scene was tonally different. It's not that it was done incorrectly or done bad, but like the tonal change between the two mediums was a little off for us.
Like, yeah, because the thing is in these first 2 books, right? Because we're still in the first 2 books.
We're still in the
There
first
are
book.
3 separate moments that make you cry like a bitch.
They are very
And so far,
emotionally
2 of
defining.
them have been fucked up.
All right. That being said, character, because of the mom and dad thing, we're doing 10, right? We're doing to 10 with the
I think so.
monocores. All right, so I'm 8.5 monocores on characters. Like I think they were done well, but the 1.5 deduction is definitely for the parents scene finding out about art for me.
I think I'm probably
all
about
other
the
characters were
same.
About the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm in the
especially
same
loved
spot.
when we saw Faerith, little Faerith Ivysaur.
Mm-hmm. Faerith and Rinia. God, that was great.
They were so spot on. They made us laugh. They made us cheer. We were so happy for those moments.
Yes.
So this episode did what the other episodes have not done before. We've typically been very critical. This episode, we were so happy. So happy. Also, I think it helped a lot that for once we weren't muted while watching this episode. We just paused it and just had a chat and like cheered and laughed.
To be fair, we could only really do that because it's you and me. If we start talking too much, we will get into spoilers. If Fenris or Star were here.
Yes, but also no. I do want to try doing it this way when we watch again.
Fair
That
enough.
being said, let's move on to story. How do you think the story for this episode was handled?
So for this part of the episode, honestly, I'd put it at like a 9 or 10
Yeah,
because
I
they didn't
think
really fuck up too much. They
I'm
fucked
gonna.
up the tone, but the story is still there.
Well, no, no. I think it was the tone of one specific scene. Oh, the overall tone I think was done well.
Fair,
Um,
fair.
and like the fact that he wasn't immediately stopped by the king and then the king apologized, and like it was warmer with the return of them to the castle in the comic versus in the anime where they were still having a discussion. I think the problem is that they're trying to make it more serious in tone in the
Hmm.
anime than in both the comic and the novel, and I
Right.
don't think I don't think it quite works. It doesn't translate quite as well. I am being hypercritical. I'm aware. Anime
Mm.
onlys. I'm curious what you think, especially now that you've seen some of the comparisons there. That being said, yeah, I'm in agreement. I think it's a 9. I think some of the changes I'm not 100% on board with, and that takes like 1 point away. But I think I can give it 9 out of 10 monocourse. All right. Uh, so from there, let's move to voice. Honestly, wasn't as grating on me this time, and Rinia just felt like Rinia to me.
Yeah, Rinia was fine.
Also, Ivysaur was on point. Oh my God, was
Yes,
Ivysaur on
absolutely.
point? Yes,
And I can't wait to hear this in English because I think that's just gonna heighten it a bit more.
I do too. I think this episode is going to be great in English. Uh, but yeah, that being said, I will say probably 9.5 for the voice work this episode. Like Gramps didn't bother me as much. Like I still don't think he quite fits, but I'm getting used to it. I feel. At this point,
Yeah.
I'm not paying attention to the voice. I'm paying attention to the character, which is what it should be. Alrighty. Uh, what are your thoughts on voice as well? Because I don't think you gave your rating yet.
No, I haven't. But for voice, I'd say this. I think this is another 9 because
Okay.
like aside from really Virion, and even then, just like you, I didn't pay too much attention to his voice, which is fine.
Yeah, it wasn't
Um,
so well. I mean, last time I think we were hyper aware because it was the first time we'd ever heard him speak.
yeah.
That wasn't in an audiobook
And
by
they're
one
handling
guy.
him well. Yeah, really. But
But
that one guy does really well with the
he
voices,
does. He does. He's really good.
which I need to start putting together a thing for me to do auditions with audiobooks because
Mm,
I think I'd enjoy that.
mm.
um, but yeah, so yeah, I give it a 9. This was a good episode. The voices sound fine. No, nothing too awkward sounding in what we heard.
Okay. Uh, so we've got character, story, voice, music.
I don't know if I heard any music this episode.
There was music. There was music. And there were moments where I didn't necessarily think that the music fit with some of the scenes. It
Hmm.
wasn't often, but it was there. So I'm at an 8 out of 10 on the music. I think it was no, no. You know what? Actually, no. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It's all right, and there were moments where I felt like certain music didn't fit the moment.
For
I don't
me,
have
I'm
anything negative
probably
about it.
yeah. Like same for me. There's nothing negative about it, but since I didn't notice it, like I kind of want to give it a 5, maybe a 6 if I were being kind, but
If
like
you're neutral,
I
no, it
didn't
sounds like you
notice
were
it.
neutral. So
Yeah.
I would say just flat 5. You're like it was there. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, cuz like I do try a lot to listen to a lot of background music because it can be really good. It can be really fun. Good background music a lot of times does that. It, blends into the background.
Okay.
Surprise, surprise. But like if I couldn't really notice it one way or the other, it's just it 5.
Okay. On to our last one, animation. Mm. This is going to be my probably lowest scored one.
Yeah,
I
mine too.
I am going to put this animation. Well, no, actually, I think music's going to be my lowest scored one. I put the animation for this episode at a 6. 6.5 monocores. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen this studio do much better animation. Like, outright. I have.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say the animation was terrible. It's just now now that we're like 6 episodes in, we're halfway through. We're halfway through, guys. We're 6 episodes in, and I'm now starting to lower my thoughts on the animation for every single episode. You know? And so we'll see how that goes. All right. What's the last thing? Yeah, give me your rating for the animation this one.
Yeah, my animation rating's probably also a 6.
Mm-hmm.
They did pretty good with some of the parts. There wasn't any action in this, so you
It's still
couldn't feel.
except for Ivysaur getting a case of the clap.
But they handled that wonderfully.
It was so good.
Because
You know what? No,
the
I'm
way
gonna
he
bump it up to a
flew
7.
and spun through the air.
I'm gonna bump it up to a 7. I'm gonna bump it
That's
up to
fair,
a 7.
that's fair.
That scene alone
That is
was
worth
worthy
the
of pushing it.
7.
So it's good. It's just not like as good as other things I've seen. And honestly, it's not as good as other things I've seen from this studio. Like, yes, the animation is good, but it could be better. To borrow from the meme.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, now that they're like kind of grown up, it looks like the animation is improved. Maybe they just focused on the post time skip stuff. I don't know. But yeah, overall, those are our thoughts. If you are an anime only, we would love to hear your thoughts. Please let us know what you thought of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Give us your thoughts on those 5 as well. Let us know what you thought about the animation, the music, the voiceover, the characters in the story. We really are curious to hear your thoughts because we have a different perspective. We pre-gamed.
Essentially.
Honestly, to be fair, when we started checking this stuff out, there was not even a whisper of an anime. Like, you should have heard how excited Moon and I were when we found out this was getting an anime. We were so excited. And then we found out it was Studio ACAT, and we were like, who? And I looked up what they did, and it was like, oh. Maybe this could be the one that, like, really sets them out. Like, maybe this could be the one that helps the studio take off. I was so hoping it would be good.
Yeah, me too.
And I've just been kind of disappointed. That's not to say that it's bad. I just wish it were better.
Yeah.
There is room for improvement. That's all I'll say. That being said, if this does get a second season, they better bump up that animation budget like crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That being said, though, guys, those are our thoughts. We're interested to hear yours. You don't have to agree with us, but if you do, we're curious to hear your thoughts on that. If you disagree with us, we definitely want to hear your thoughts. But if you're just going to say you're going to unsubscribe because we didn't like a particular thing, sorry, you won't be missed.
Yeah.
If you can't handle the opinions of strangers on the internet, time to get off the internet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that being said, though, guys, I'm Richie Roberts.
I'm Moonlight Sparks.
And we will see you on the next one. Take care. And, of course, watch more anime. Oh, and don't forget
do it now.
Don't forget to go to our community tab and vote for what you think Moon should watch next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.